And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, as well, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football. Go ahead and check out where it's going to be. NFL Week 9. So go ahead and check out our thoughts on that, plus the latest goings on in the NFL at Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Stone Hansen is here at report_court. Also, as well, John Costas, Clutch Talk and Lakers channel. Go ahead and support all these guys. Follow, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do to go ahead and follow the action there. Joe Soro will be coming up later on his nightcap. So go ahead and catch Joe then, LakersBall.com and SimBlaze with Y.com. The guys from the Lakerholics crew are coming up tomorrow right here at noon for another Lakerholic Spotlight. So go ahead and check out them. Laker Tom will be happy with the win. So go ahead and check out what he has to say along with Jamie Sweet and Michael Heinrich at Lakerholic Spotlight indeed. Hoping, and speaking of Lakerholics, I'm hoping to get L Rob on here as well. I know it's a East Coast early game, so more people can join us. It's always a great thing. Also, as well, of course, Lakers in 5, Empire Jeff TV, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Yo, John McCallion channel. All these great channels, please like and subscribe. Also, the Legends channel, he was on for our pregame. Please support all these great places. Like and subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when you go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. And also, as well, don't forget to become a member today. It's just $2.99 a month. Get inside stuff that we send to you first and foremost, plus also knowledge when we go on the air with some of our latest and greatest shows. Plus, also as well, you get emojis, badges, and also big shout outs from all of us right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Well, the Lakers came into tonight a little bit of a downer. Lost the past 2 games. Didn't look good so far as for a start for the 5-game road trip, but a trip to the Great White North is just exactly the elixir that the Lakers needed. And they started off strong, got up to a 20-point plus lead. The half looked really good as they had scored 76 points in that first half, and things were looking real sweet, but they didn't come out with the same energy in the third quarter. He got outscored 37-23. Didn't look too good. I can think they were 1 of 10 to start the fourth quarter, but a couple of threes by Rui Hachimura snapped things back into place, and the Lakers got back up to double digits. And even though they kind of gave up a good portion of that lead late, they still held off the Raptors 131-125 behind. Anthony Davis, 38 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 block shots. LeBron James, 27 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Austin Reaves, 20 points, and also 6 assists. And, of course, D'Angelo Russell with 19 and 6 as well. The bench, not great still. I guess it combined, 18 points? Still need to work on that. But, again, the Lakers get the victory. Of course, a good thing for us, 131-125. And here we go. Got a full lineup as far as great panelists for you today. I'm really excited for that. And again, Joe is coming on for the nightcap later on tonight. He said there's too many people and he needs to blab, so he needs his own time slot. Gee, go figure on that one. It is, of course, well, when you have as big an ego as he does, what do you expect? First man up, first man here is, of course, the man behind at report_court. He was part of our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break live simulcast coverage. It is Stone Hansen. Stone, great to have you here, my friend. Always looking forward to hearing your thoughts along with L. Rob and John's. So, a good victory for the Lakers today. Kind of did effort-wise, kind of what most teams do in the second half once they get up to a big early lead. But it was enough to close out the game with the win. Stone, I don't get you, man.
Still can't hear you, Stone.
Still can't hear you, Stone. No worries.
Probably got to switch your settings.
There you go. No worries. Then I'll go ahead. I'll get John in first. John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. John, Good win tonight. As far as for the most part, it didn't look pretty in that third, fourth quarters, but their lead was so large. Didn't look like the Lakers going to lose control entirely. Defensively, there's be some issues, I think, when you give up 125 points, but when you're scoring 131, you got it done. And the big two and got support from another two means a W for the Lakers.
Gerald, I didn't know you were a rapper on the low.
Oh,
Okay, I like the rhyme scheme.
hold on, John. I'm sorry to interrupt. One thing, breaking news. Shut up, Joe, in the chat. The best Lakers chat that's out there. Lakers Fast Break.
Well, if you weren't on playback, you didn't see that Joe and Gerald have been going at it, so that's why we get that, man. But to talk
Don't
about
we
the game,
always?
yes, you guys are always going at it. But look, to talk about the game, I'm sure L. Rob and Stone have a lot to get into as well. So I won't take up too much time. But the biggest thing I'll say is like, man, talk about a game with a tale of two halves. In the first half, we scored, I believe it was 76 points. That's the most points that the Raptors have had scored on all season so far. And then we start the third quarter and the fourth quarter. The third quarter we started 1 of 6, and the fourth quarter we started 1 of 10. Talk about a tale of two halves. To me, that just shows that we don't have that. I mean, we knew we weren't champions, but I feel like when you see champions, when you see a team like the Celtics, they keep their foot on their necks the whole time from beginning to end until that buzzer sounds. They keep their foot on their necks, and we couldn't do that tonight. But hey, a win is a win. It got real ugly at the end. I'm upset that our 22-point lead dwindled down to, I believe the least it was 6.
Yeah.
I'm very upset that we let it dwindle down to that. But hey, man, look, a win is a win, and all I'm looking for is a W tonight, man. So mistakes, and let's go ahead and get it done.
Let's get it done. Indeed, absolutely. So hopefully they can take this momentum from today's victory and ride it into where L. Rob is going to be at come Monday. But we'll talk to him in just a second. But also, Stone Hansen, have we got you back on now, my friend?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, man. Loud and clear.
Perfect. Yeah, I think this is a well executed game in the first half. I thought the second half. I mean, we did what we ran what we needed to. We just didn't hit shots, and we played with low energy in the third quarter. I thought the fourth quarter we played fine, but at that point it was made too close in the third. Had they played throughout the third, I think we could have rested our stars a bit more. But it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal for the fifth game into the season. I think my biggest takeaway from this game was the fact that I think we just need really badly a third center on this team, and not necessarily to start along AD, but because Jackson Hayes, I thought plays well, but he plays with so much energy that he gasses himself out really quickly. He doesn't pace himself throughout the game. So to be able to give him a bit more rest, and not to even mention, if any sort of injury were to occur, which hopefully doesn't, but just for more insurance there. I think at third center is really needs to be a priority for this team. And again, not even necessarily to play alongside AD as a starter, but just somebody that can soak up some more minutes for them. But I thought overall this was a pretty good game. Obviously, we saw extended minutes for some bench guys with Reaves at the end of the second quarter, but I thought overall this was a pretty good game. I think that I really like the sets that JJ runs. He runs horns, inverted horns, double drags, a lot of sort of plays that are simplistic, yet with the roster we have, you can run them in a variety of different ways. So I think that we're doing a much better job this season of getting our guys open for shots rather than hoping they cut or things like that. We're actually have them move around more, and we're getting them open shots. So it's a matter of hitting them when their numbers called upon. And I think we did a pretty good job of that tonight. We just got sloppy in the third quarter.
Do want to ask you before I hit it over to L. Rob. That's something I wanted to ask you. The past couple games before in their losses, they reverted back back to ISO. A lot of things that we didn't like to see that we saw much of last season. The ball movement was much better tonight, and I think that, like you said, it was a key for tonight's game and how they scored 131 on the board.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of how you have to play basketball nowadays. I think the more you move the ball in a efficient manner, the better looks you're going to get, and that results in keeping yourself in a better situation to win the game. So I think the Lakers, JJ has the capabilities. He showed it tonight, and he's shown it in other games as well, that you can run things. We have plays out of timeouts. We have plays for out of bounds plays. So there's things we could run. A lot of the plays we're running are not overly complex, but because we have bigs that can pass, we have with AD, we have guards that can play tough inside with Reaves. We can run some variations of different things, inverted horns. We could run, Spanish pick and rolls. There's a lot of different things we could run with this team. So even though it's not overly complex, there's a lot of different variations of things we can do. And I think when you do that with this team, we're going to get better results than if you were to just simply play ISO.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Stone Hansen, John Costa, and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching this thing. Truly appreciate it. The Lakers do win 131 to 125, going 1-2 on the road, and also as well, they're now 4-2 on the season. But also here today is a good man indeed. He is our man in the Detroit basketball area. He will be at the Detroit game on Monday. So if you're around there, you're heading to the game, watch the Lakers, give him a shout out. It is the Michigan State Spartan indeed as well. It is L-Rob. L-Rob, great to have you here. Your Lions are kicking some major butt. I will say that as a guy who takes care of a fantasy football show. It's greatly nice to see that the Lions are now become a powerhouse in the NFL once again. But your thoughts on today's game? So nice to see that Austin Reaves, who got a scare in the first half when he tweaked his ankle. People were kind of worried, like, oh, he's going to be out for weeks. He's going to like Steph Curry, yada, yada, yada. Well, he came back in the second half. I'm hoping that it's not going to just blow up overnight, like sometimes those sprained ankles do, and that he was just trying to keep it loose and warm. That'll be okay for Monday's game. Your thoughts, though, on today's game? Again, a tale two halves, but the Lakers were so far ahead. Of course, Toronto could never catch up.
Hey, Gerald, Stone, John, good to see you guys.
Great to have you back, my friend.
I hope you don't have J-Mo on your fantasy team.
No.
That would not be good.
No.
But yeah, today's game, it's one of those sleepy games where you're playing a team where their best player is injured. You go in, you pretty much know if you show up and just play halfway decent, you should have a comfortable victory. So it's hard to read a whole lot into the game. It's good to see LeBron come out with some energy and some sense of purpose. To me, that's the biggest thing. I kind of watch LeBron and gauge how he comes out and what he brings to the table. The rest of the guys are pretty, well, Reaves and Rui are pretty consistent in what they're going to do. D'Lo, of course, has been up and down. It's good to see him have a game. I mean, his passing has been very consistent. His passing has been on point, but his other areas have been, up and down, more down than up. So he was good today. So that was good to see. But yeah, it's hard to take away a whole lot from today's game. Reaves, it was really good to see him come back in the second half. He's pretty. He bounces back pretty good. He gets some bumps and bruises, but he's usually back faster than whatever they anticipate. I've noticed when he gets an injury. It was good to see AD play a game. I think I only counted him going to the ground on an offensive move maybe twice, maybe 3 times. So that, to me, that was the biggest thing. It's like, AD, play on two feet, bro. Quit going to the hole every time where you're off balance and you're going to fall down. You can't be falling down like you're Dwayne Wade 18 and 20 times a game. You won't make it through a season like that. So be a little less aggressive with some of those moves. Shoot your little pull-up, shoot your little floater. and that's what he did today. So very good win. On to Detroit. Take care of the Pistons. Pistons have a little firepower. They have some players, so hopefully the Lakers won't come in and just think it's an automatic W, because you don't want to get a team like, you got to beat the bad teams. So
But it is a bad team right now. Like you said, they just they have some players, but they haven't been able to mesh as of yet. But
yeah.
I got to get you before, because I haven't been able to chance to really talk to you about this since the start of the season. Before I get it back to John, your thoughts on JJ Redick so far and the coaching job he's done through 6 games?
I have been impressed with him. So I was not one that was for bringing him in. Just felt like too much of a gamble to me. But he's been very good. I like the offense. Like Stone said, their offensive sets are better. Players are getting more open shots. It's nothing anybody can do defensively when you got Reaves and D'Lo at the point of attack. I mean, we're going to get beat off the dribble a lot. That's just a fact of life. So that's going to limit your ceiling, period. If Gabe can somehow get just a decent, respectable shot, his defense is good. I mean, he's solid. He don't get beat that, like those guys do. And if him and Christie, who are better defenders, can actually play a little offense, then, we might have a chance to go a little bit further. But yeah, just to answer your question about JJ, I've been impressed. Some of their out of timeout plays, you can see some structure. So yeah, it's but the real challenge comes when you hit adversity. And
JY, wanted to ask you, since you're there locally, what's your thoughts of Ron Holland? I think Ron Holland Jr., if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, haven't seen him a whole lot.
He's coming off the bench, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he's playing. I sure Thompson has been hurt, the high draft pick from last year, so he's eating some of those minutes. But I mean, he's just a raw athlete that's going to come in and just give him energy. So he's doing kind of pretty much what they expected at this point.
Rob, quick question. Yeah. Just because we're probably never going to talk about Detroit on this again, but how do you like Asar? Do you like Asar?
I like Asar. I like him because he's gritty. I mean, he's got to figure out. He pretty much sticks with his role. He don't try to shoot too much. At some point, he will need to improve. Kind of reminds me of when Stanley Johnson came in. I think he was a West Coast guy, wasn't he, from Arizona someplace? Yeah, so when he came in, he, big body, pro NBA body, good defender. He used to defend LeBron good, but he never could figure out, the scoring part and the offensive end. I think Asar has some of those same capabilities, but I think he has a better understanding of his game. He knows how to do little flip shots and get into the lane and score. And, he won't just start jacking up threes. So I like him. I think he's definitely a plus player and part of the piston between him, Ivy, Cade, Durham. I mean, they got some young guys. They're just really young. I mean, most of these guys, they come in the league a year early, sometimes 2 years early. And we expect them to come in and start playing right away, and they're just really not ready. So that's kind of the, fans don't like it, but hey, that's the truth. I mean, look at it. I mean, Christie, what's this? Christie third year? Yeah. He should be a rookie right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was, I watched every Michigan State game, and not one time was he ever the best player on the court. And he went to the league and the Lakers drafted him. So, I hear you. I watched Hood.
Oh man, goddamn!
I mean, he was a better college player, but still, he wasn't ready for the league. So people have these expectations of these young guys, and they come in, they're just not ready. It's a rare occasion where you see a guy come in and he's really, really ready to contribute. So.
Yeah. Now, I just wanted to ask, because I'm not gonna lie, like I agree with like your like analytical take like on Sar, but my biggest thing is like he played in that like OTE league or whatnot. And my
Yeah.
thing is like there was no top tier NBA level players. There wasn't even top tier Division One athletes over there. There were some
Right.
good players, but the majority of them, it was not high level competition. So to make that jump from OTE to literally the highest possible level of basketball, I thought there's gonna be like a couple of years of him trying to figure that out. So I was gonna ask that, but I also know he's just a straight up pure athlete. Like the man's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a crazy athlete, him and his brother. So so yeah, just wanted to
And you
touch
come
on
into a
that.
bad team, so
Yeah.
you know what I mean. What do they have to lose to put him in there and let him learn while they lose some games? It's not like he coming in with Denver or Boston or a team that's really expected to win. Whereas you come in and you're not bringing it from the beginning. Hey, we can't afford to play you. They can afford to play him and lose a few more games and for him to grow. But I think he has a decent upside. It really is going to depend on how he offensively, if he could mature and kind of figure that out. So
I feel you, Rob. Great to see you, my boy.
okay, likewise.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is, of course, L. Rob from the Lakerholics crew. Go ahead and watch the Lakerholics tomorrow at noon. Stone Hansen at report_court, and of course, John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Big shout out to those channels. Please like and subscribe. John, reason why the game was so close after the Lakers got out to that big early lead, I think you probably know where I'm heading, is once that bench comes in, it's a concern, my friend. Today, only 18 points, which is actually more than what they normally do on the season. Dalton Connect, 5 points. Gabe Vincent, 2. Jackson Hayes, 4. Max Christie, and as Doobie said, this is his best game of the season, Gerald. And I'm thinking to myself, the guy's got 7 points, and that's the best game he's had all season. He is your sixth man off the bench. Like 5 of 5 for the free throw line. Give him credit there. 5 rebounds. Give him credit there. 7 points, though. He has got to be more aggressive than taking only one shot in the game. All these guys, they've got to find a way to find more offense coming off the bench, John, because Gabe Vincent tonight, 1 of 6. Dalton Connect, 2 of 5. Jackson Hayes and Max Christie, 1 of 1. That, against a good team, probably will not get it done.
Probably will not get it done. Definitely will not get it done, Gerald. Absolutely will not get it done. And to the point of Max Christie, this is his best game. And you know what else it is? It's his first game. And all you analytical junkies out there that love the plus minus, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's his first game that he's had a positive in the plus minus category, which
Yes.
is terrible. But he's not trying to hate on. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on the guy, but he's just not a good basketball player to what we need. So yes, absolutely, this 7-point game is the best thing. Is the best game we've seen from him. And you know what's crazy, guys? We're saying that the best game we've seen from him is a game where he took one shot. Like, what does that tell you about the player? Like, what does that tell you? And this is what I try to tell people, man, about Max Christie. The best game we've seen all season, the game where he took one shot, man. And you know what? Even sucks even more as a Lakers fan is that right now, until Dalton Connect gets deemed the next bench guy, which I think he should have been deemed that, or unless Gabe Vincent turns up and becomes Miami Gabe Vincent, he's kind of what we're relying on. He's kind of what we're relying on off the bench, and so I say all this to say, Gerald, man, we're screwed, and yeah, it'll get it done against the freaking Toronto Raptors that are 1-4, we're now 1-5, but this won't get us done. Stone in playback said he projects us to be a first round exit. I don't even think we get there. If we're relying on our starting lineup in this bench, I don't know if we get there, guys. I don't know if we can get through a play-in team depending on what it is. I'm gonna be honest. So that's where I'm at with it, Gerald.
Stone, let me before we go. Rodell, Cam Christie. I don't know. We don't have a good gauge on Cam Christie because I think he's playing at the G League team for the Clippers right now. He wasn't even listed on the team's roster for last night, active roster for last night. So I'm assuming he, like many of the other players, like for instance JHS, Maxwell Lewis, are playing at the G League level right now. But Stone, getting it back to you right now, when it comes down to the Lakers, again, they got to take this momentum, got to swing it by a team that they should defeat in Detroit, a team that hasn't been successful so far this season, and go into Memphis, your town, your neck of the woods right there. We go from L. Rob's area, we go to Stone's area. So it's funny how that works. But after that, again, Memphis, I am concerned though, if Ja and Pippen, their quickness, that's one of the things I think the Lakers have a hard time dealing with on the defensive end so far from what I've seen this season, Stone.
Yeah, and like El Rob said, like I mean, you could have prime Phil Jackson as your coach. It's not going to change how we play defensively at the point of attack. We're the reason we get beat at the point of attack isn't that they're necessarily bad at reading things defensively. They're just both very bad athletes. That's it's just the bottom line of it. And when you have two poor athletes against two great, I mean, Ja especially an elite athlete, he's going to have a big game most likely. So I think the way to counter that is, you know, make sure that you have help side rim protectors in positioning. And I want to put Rui and Hayes and AD in positions where they can come in from the side and affect shots. You want to maybe try and do some like traps where you have a L shape around the primary ball handler and you make it tough for him to pass out. Things like that, because you're not going to beat him at the top. It's just not going to happen. But the next stretch of games, I think, are all very winnable. Pistons should be pretty winnable. They've lost a lot of games, but they've been in the games that they've lost down to the fourth quarter. But we should still beat them. Memphis, it doesn't have Bane. They don't have Smart. It's pretty winnable. We play the Raptors again, so these are all, you know, very winnable games. We have just better talent overall, at least in our starting five, than these teams coming into these games. So we should win them all. You know, and we might go into a game taking it for granted, and eventually you find yourself, you know, scrapping at the fourth quarter because you didn't take them seriously enough. But I think if you can really focus and hone in on these games, that we should come out of this next stretch 5-0, I think, and you start looking good this season. You want to make sure you, like El Rob said, you're taking care of these bad teams. I think this is a team that is going to struggle against a lot of the top tier teams. So if you have the opportunities, you got to take them. And I think, especially in the beginning of the season, a lot of teams end up sort of taking it for granted and not really looking, you know, towards these are must-win games. And I think the Lakers have the opportunity to take advantage of that and get out to an early lead, where hopefully they're not struggling at the final 10 games to try and make the play-in as a 10th seed. So take care of business early, and then you won't have to struggle so much at the end of the season to get those last couple wins.
Because L-Rob, if they do finish their business, as Stone said, and take care of these teams that, Memphis, we don't know how good Memphis is going to be. I mean, when they have all their players back, they are very close or similar to the team that they had that, you know, went to second place in the Western Conference 2 seasons ago. So we don't know exactly how good they're going to be, but these are all very winnable games. And if they come back 6-2, I'd say that's a pretty darn good start for the Los Angeles Lakers, Rob.
I would agree. Absolutely. 6-2. Yeah, all day. That would be a good start. The Memphis game on coming back, yes. The Memphis game.
They play Memphis twice in the next week.
Yeah, so the Memphis road game. I mean, Lakers, based on what we've seen on the road, every road game is going to be tough, right? They lost they played tough in Phoenix. Yeah, blew out in Cleveland. today against a glorified G League team. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, Bear's a player and Pirtle's a player. I mean, so they have a few players, but still, I mean, undermanned team though. They get taken late into the fourth quarter. So I'm expecting every road game to possibly be a tough game. So anytime they're playing a above average team, which I think Memphis will be, and then I don't expect that. I wouldn't say that should be a W, but yeah, you should beat them at home. So 6-2, good start. I mean, coming from where we've been the last 2 years, where you're starting off 2-10 and whatever every year, and each game is almost a must-win game. A quarter into the season, that's exhausting, man. That's exhausting as a fan. So I can't imagine as a player.
Are you concerned that AD and LeBron and the rest of the starting five are playing too many minutes?
I thought about that today, but not. I mean, with LeBron, yes. With AD and the rest of those guys, no. Get out there, play those guys 35, 36, 37, 38 minutes. I'm not concerned. I mean, this is the first year you really can see a decline in LeBron game. I mean, to me, a serious decline where, okay, I don't know if you're going to be an all-star. That type of decline to me now. I mean, he had the great quarter. Yeah, I mean, I Father Time is knocking at the door. LeBron's been slamming it in his face every year, but this year, I hope, based on what I've seen so far, I can definitely see a legitimate decline in his play. So yes, I would definitely want to rest him more.
The other thing is, can you win these games if you're not playing your starters 35 plus minutes a game?
No.
We talked about earlier how bad our bench is. I think you kind of have to play these guys this level of minutes throughout the season to have some sort of competitive record at the end of the year. I don't think you are able to play a lot of these bench guys more than 12 or 15 minutes a night. So it makes it difficult, and you're setting them up in a way that it's going to be tough for them and going into the playoffs if we get there. But yeah, I don't really see another option as to how we win these games consistently otherwise.
I mean, he's played 36 minutes tonight, just to give everybody a reference. Sean, I know you said 10 assists and 0 turnovers. He didn't play too many minutes tonight. Well, he's the only one that knows whether or not he played too many minutes. But L. Rob is right. He is not. I mean, Father Time is knocking on the door. He's averaging 21, 6, and 6. Although, again, if you ask me, has any other 39-year-old ever averaged 21, 6, and 6? So, yeah, I mean, it goes without saying. But yeah, playing that 39-year-old and AD at 31, constantly 36, 38 minutes. I mean, it's fine now in game number 6. I mean, is it fine? Or game number 5 or whatever? But is it going to be fine in game 25, game 35, and game 45, L. Rob?
Yeah, so I guess I should put some context to that because, I mean, LeBron, the bar has been so high. So him coming down a significant step is still a good player. Still maybe a very, I mean, on some nights, a very good player, but it's still a significant step down. What is he? I mean, like you say, he's at
21, 6, and 6 right now.
Yeah, okay. So at this time, he normally is 26, 27 or something like that. So he's down some. So I'm that's probably my biggest concern is how much will he have left? Because, when he talked about that great quarter he had, and how big he was in Sacramento, he said, "Hey, was that on a back-to-back?"
Yes, that was on a back-to-back.
That was on a back-to-back, and he talked about, "Hey, I went straight to bed. I got up. I took 2 naps. I did." He said he did a serious routine to get himself to that level. So I don't think that type of rest is that sustainable for him. So I do worry about him. Hopefully, when Vando comes back, that'll help alleviate some of that. But like everybody's been saying, these guys on the bench, at some point, you guys got to step up and play. Christie, Gabe, you guys got to come in and give us something. Christie, get some confidence, dude. Come on, man. You're a Spartan. Get out there. Shoot. What's the worst thing that can happen? You can miss and quit going to the hole, jumping off of 2 legs like you're gonna dunk on somebody. You're not Neek. Shoot you a jumper. Shoot you a little pull up. Quick going all the way to the rack. I hate to see that. He's got to play smarter.
So, John, when LeBron says, as he did last week after that game against Sacramento, that he was going to play all 82 games, and unless he gets injured or whatnot, but he is intending to play all 82 games. Does that concern you at all? Because if he doesn't, obviously with the bench and lack of production from therein, that does leave with some concerns for Lakers fans.
Yes, but if we know LeBron, we all know LeBron is a chronological liar. LeBron James loves to lie, and you know what? It's okay, LeBron. There's no way he plans on playing all 82 games. That's not even that's not even realistic. And I'm not 40, and I know that. So I think that's just him out there talking for the media, giving a media answer, PR trained answer. But I think him and coaching staff understand that there is a point in the season where they're gonna have to dial it back. But then comes the follow up of like, okay, you dial it back, and you dial it back to what bench? Who comes off the bench? L Rob just inspired me, and man, the way he was just talking to Max Christie, like, just shoot the damn ball, just shoot, like, just go up with confidence. And what's crazy is, oh, Sean, you're right. Did I say it wrong? Yeah, pathological liar. Did I say chronological liar? I don't know, whatever I said, but LeBron's a liar at the end of the day. That's the point. But I say that to say, yeah, we need LeBron, so he's not gonna play all 82 games, but we need him, and it's unfortunate we don't have him to bench. And yeah, Max Christie, man, like, I've gave up all hope on you, but if you could just at least play with just a little bit of confidence, just so some team could get some hope in you, we could turn this around for something. But I I am only looking. I'm not looking forward to it, but I think in something that's going to happen, we can't stop, is LeBron's going to need some time off, and we're not really going to have any reliable players, and I think that's when we start to go on a bit of a losing streak. Don, I don't know about that, Don. What do you think I'm yapping on? Because I believe that watch when we have to rely on whoever comes off the bench. It's gonna get grimy quick. So would love to know what you think I'm yapping on, Don. Don Key Dick.
Okay, and on that note, Stone, boy, I've heard enough of those jokes all night long with Doobie, and I'll just leave it at that. Stone,
Doobie was killing it.
yeah, he was. But in our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, and as far as the big shout out to John, you, Joe, and also as well Laker Nick for stopping by on the show. Toronto, again, they should not have been as close tonight as they were, seeing how they have both Barnes and Quickly, their two highest played players, out of the lineup tonight. Barrett killed it. Grady killed it. You notice I didn't say his last name in fear of what happened tonight. But yes, L. Rob, all I will say is, yes, we went back to grade school with his last name tonight, and I'll leave it at that in the chat during the game. But we should not have been that close. It should not have been that close at all. The Lakers lost focus in that second half. Again, we get the win. That's great. But what do you think JJ is telling them in the locker room so that they can go ahead and straighten out to make sure they don't do the same thing again at what is potentially a trap game when they see L. Rob on Monday?
I have no idea what JJ's saying, but what I would say is to learn a lesson from tonight's second half and apply it to the incoming games of teams that we perceive to have much lesser talent than us. If you take it for granted, you're going to wind up in the same situation where it's way closer than it needs to be. So go in there with the same mindset of it as if they were playing the Celtics. This is an NBA team, and you need to treat them as such and do what you can to play your best. And I think if you're taking nights off, then you're setting yourself up for situations you don't need to be in. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm not overly concerned about what happened tonight. It's the 6th game into the season. And I mean, you're going to have games like this. This won't be the last time the Lakers have a game like this. I'll just put it that way. You have plenty more games left to go. And hopefully they learn from it, but chances are they're going to have more situations like this. As for the bench, like obviously we need a better bench. Everyone is saying it in the chat. Everyone's saying it during the game tonight. We all need a better bench. We all know we need a better bench. The problem is we just can't do it without either sacrificing one of our starting 5 or first-round picks we have. And, if you're sacrificing your starting 5 to better your bench, I think that's generally not going to go in your favor. And I don't think a team like the Lakers, the window is shutting on any sort of competitiveness with LeBron's age. I don't think it's worth giving up first round picks just to bolster your bench. So I think the team we have right now is probably going to be the team we're running with for most of the year. I don't think we should expect much out of the bench because they haven't shown anything to, inspire that in us. But I think we're going to be with who we have, and that's who we're going to run with. And, that's why I'm not overly optimistic in us going too deep into the playoffs. But I think that this is basically get used to it. This is the roster I think we're going to have for the rest of the year. So it's not going to be pretty at times. There's going to be injuries to the starting 5, and we're going to have bench players playing in the starting 5 unit. And hopefully they grow, that's what I want. But as of now, I think it's going to be pretty rough. And this is just sort of what we're going to have to deal with throughout the year.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do win 131-125. Rob, JJ Redick said after the game, he isn't surprised at how easily AD is scoring. Davis could be number 1 depending on Jokic total minutes, tonight against the Minnesota. Said they try to call certain actions for AD, but much of his scoring comes into flow. The ball is going to find AD if we play the way we want to play. Your thoughts on AD? He is looking more like someone who should be more thought of at the top of the MVP rankings so far this season.
Oh, he's been outstanding. He has been everything we've always wanted AD to be, and everything that he's been most of the time. And he's added a little bit more offensive aggression. So, and that's all. To me, that was the only thing that anybody, if they wanted to really criticize him on, is some games he just came out and, he was not that interested in scoring. But now he's coming out with the intent to score. And like JJ has said, it is very intentional the way they are getting to actions to make sure AD has the ball. And, guys look for him. D'Lo especially does a very good job of making sure he's looking for him. LeBron, of course, is looking for him. So, and AD is paying it off. So, yeah. So we just, God forbid, even if he's going to need to miss some games for rest at some point, I just don't see how this team can be that competitive without him on the floor. But yes, he is definitely playing at a high MVP level this season, and it would be nice to see him, be right there at the end and, get that consideration. So that is what makes the games worth tuning into a little bit more at this point.
Go ahead, John, because I have a question.
You got a kind of mediocre team, having an MVP candidate that, watching him do his thing every night. That's inspiring.
That is inspiring. Go ahead, John. Do you want to say something, Rob, on that?
No. I was just gonna say shout out to Jay showing love and Xbox showing love in the chat, and Don, brother, if you come check my yapping out, man. Lakers Corner and Clutch Talk. Jay put the links on there. Come check it out. And I see you talking about the free throw disparity. Please, let's not get into the free throw disparity. Let's understand how basketball is played. Let's understand that the Lakers go inside. We are a bigger team, so if we're going to go inside, we're going to likely to get fouled more. and we are a disciplined team. We're not out there fouling people. So
I
let's
mean,
please not get going with that narrative because
it
we've
seems like,
covered that multiple
yeah,
times.
once a week somebody comes in and randomly says
A
that, and they just
casual.
they don't understand or follow the Lakers. They see one game and they think that's
Yeah.
a microcosm of the entire thing. Don't understand that's the Lakers' identity. That's who they are. They will not outshoot you from the 3-point line. They will take it inside and power it inside. And their game is getting to the free throw line much more than their opponent. Check the stats out, not just this year, not just last year, but the season before as well. Check out
Yeah.
the stats. They bear out. It's, again, for most games this year, the Lakers have outshot their opponent at the free throw line. It's their strategy. It's what they do best. They're better than anybody else in the NBA. They don't shoot as many threes. They don't shoot as well as many threes. That's not their deal. Even though JJ wants to increase that, their main deal, their main bread and butter is getting it out in transition and getting to the free throw line. That really helps out their game and gives them probably one of their best chances to win. But
Stop it.
John,
It's not just one game. That's crazy. Don, brother, I don't know if anyone's told you, but I'm here to tell you, brother, you are a casual.
yes, Don, it's
You are
not
a casual, brother.
Don. It's we're talking more than one game. We're talking. This is the identity of the Lakers. Check the stats out, and we're right. We have one of you guys that comes every week and complains about it when your team loses and your team gets outshot by 20 or 30 at the free throw line. It's just the way it is. It's not the refs, because it would be the whole entire refs league, because all the refs are not calling it the same way. You and I both know when you look at the stats, we will be proven right and you will be proven wrong. It just check the past 2 seasons and check this season. Well, it's an argument. We get like I said, we get a fan from the other team that comes in every week and complains about that. Just understand you need basketball knowledge and to research before you make these comments in this chat room. It's just that simple. We know the Lakers and you don't. But John, let me go ahead and get it back to you, my friend, president of the D'Angelo fan club. You didn't know this, but Austin Reaves said that JJ Redick approached him and D'Angelo Russell this morning about adjusting rotation, and both were on board with the change. So Austin Reaves said he had talked to JJ Redick about that because JJ Redick said he adjusted rotation tonight to put the ball in D'Angelo Russell's hands more next to AD. That resulted in AR and LBJ playing more together, with Redick noting their two-man chemistry. So your thoughts on this? I know some in the chat have been saying, well, it's been better without D'Lo having the ball in his hands so much, playing more off ball. Tonight was a little bit more of D'Angelo playing more on ball, getting him more engaged. Your thoughts on what the adjustment tonight was for JJ on that one, John?
Yes. I think, and this is something I've been preaching for a long time. D'Angelo Russell, I mean, I've been preaching this since last season. He is a rhythm player. He is a type of guy that he needs to get some type of rhythm going. He can't just come on the court and get it cracking. He needs to have the ball in his hands. He needs to get some shots going. And when he finds his rhythm, then D'Angelo Russell's clicking on a whole nother level. But the only way to find your rhythm is getting up shots. The only way to find the rhythm is having the ball in your hands, which is why I believe that, and I've said this so many times, we unfortunately cannot, with the construct of this team, cannot let go of D'Angelo Russell only because we do not have any other guard that can play make for others. I mean, L. Rob was just talking about how um, D'Lo and AB have that special connection. That's because D'Lo is an immaculate playmaker. Yes, he's a cone on the defensive end. Yes, when he's an extremely inconsistent player, but besides LeBron James, D'Angelo Russell is our only true other playmaking guard that can play make for other players and get other players involved. Austin Reaves, more of a two guard. Gabe Vincent, more of a two guard. Dalton Connect, more of a two guard. So I say that to say that D'Angelo Russell, he needs to have the ball in his hands to get some type of rhythm going. It's an unfortunate situation, but it's where we're at, right? It's the reality we have to deal with. It's either ask a man that's about to be 40 years old in December 25th to have the ball in his hands for 82 games in regular season and then do it in the playoffs, which is an unrealistic ask, or ask D'Angelo Russell to do this in the 82 game season and then have LeBron take over all playmaking responsibilities come playoffs. So I say this to say if JJ Redick's plan is bring D'Lo more on ball, hey, I say bring it. I say bring it. It's gonna come with its peaks and valleys. Let's get this figured out now. But let's get D'Lo some rhythm here because he is a rhythm player.
Parade on Figueroa. Just thank you so much. When you get a chance, just do a little rewind because I asked El Rob his thoughts on JJ Redick because he hadn't been on in a while. He is really, I guess, I don't want to speak for you, El Rob. You go ahead and touch on it real quick when I get to you, my friend. Stone, John, myself, I think we're all more positive now that we've seen some games under the books. And Stone, you know what? That's what I'll go to. I got about 10 minutes left before we turn it over Joe on the nightcap. Stone, thoughts on JJ Redick? I mean, you have been on in a few days, so you've got a little bit of sample of work. It looks like he is making changes, making adjustments both on and during the game and on off days. He is studying. I mean, Baron Davis caught him at the car wash studying, defensive sets for Sacramento at the time. He is putting in the work. So I am giving him the respect. I was not on board. I wanted to see what was out there. El Rob, same thing. We wanted to see first what he would be like out there before we made an opinion. We're not Tom calling him the next Pat Riley before game one started on the season. Of course, that's Laker Tom for you. But be that as it may, Stone, how has JJ Redick done so far in your eyes?
I think he's been a pretty good, first year head coach. I was fairly indifferent on the hiring. I'm pretty indifferent on any head coach hiring because I feel like you need a good 25, 30 game sample size to really know if they're a good coach or not. And I think that it's difficult to make that judgment before you've seen what they can do. To me, prior experience doesn't matter at all. We saw Darvin Ham with 12 years of coaching experience in the NBA. It didn't get us anywhere. And I think JJ's done a better job having no prior experience in his, the first 6 games in comparison. That said, I'm still fairly indifferent. I don't want to be too definitive yet on my assumptions of him, but I think that he's definitely got a simplistic yet effective coaching scheme. I think he's, like I said, he's running a lot of double drags, horns, inverted horns seem to be the primary sets that he's running. Sometimes he'll run Spanish pick and rolls or double drags. But I think that he's got a lot of sets that are, he's got maybe 5 or 6 sets and all of them are fairly, entry level. Most people know what these sets are, but he's using them in a way where he's using players in different things. So if he's running a horn set, he's not always having LeBron and AD as the 2 screeners. Sometimes he'll have the 2 guards as screeners. He mixes things up because when you do that, you get different outcomes. You're not having the same outcome every time when you're running the same play. So I think by using different players in different ways within those sets, he's able to get more diversity in terms of the result and effectiveness. And I think that's a good thing. So, and, it's his first year and first, not even 10 games. So as the season goes on and as his career goes on, I think that the number of sets he introduces within the offense will expand and the ways that he uses will expand as well. I like that a lot of the sets that he's running out of timeouts and out of bounds plays, I think, are really solid. And we're getting good looks. We're not always executing them, but I think we're getting pretty open looks on most of our out of timeout and out of bounds plays. Defensively, like Al Rob said, there's only so much you can do with 2 guys that are poorly equipped at the point of attack. But I think guys are just in better positions overall to succeed. They're not always succeeding, but they're in better positions to do that on defense. And I think that's a big difference. Whereas last couple of years, I felt like a lot of guys, you'd see them during the game and they're asking each other, where are you supposed to be on the court? They didn't really have a good sense of, who's got this guy? Where am I supposed to be? And I feel like now every time coming down the court, guys know where they're supposed to be. Now, whether they execute what they're supposed to do is a different story, but they always know where they need to be. And I think that's a big factor in terms of our success rate at this point early on in the season. So it's not going to be perfect because we don't have the personnel to make it perfect, but I think we have the capability to show more effectiveness on both ends of the court with just how we're being coached.
So the last word as far as analysis before I turn over to Stone and John is about how to get a hold of them on their respective YouTube or Twitter handles. L-Rob, I give it to you, my friend. 6 games. Lakers are 4-2, off to a pretty good start. Things are or can look pretty good with what's in front of them. You're expecting something on Monday night to, well, hopefully Jamie does not become his Admiral Akbar again and sets out the trap for the Lakers, as you and I both know he has done over the years. But, tomorrow you're not going to be there. I know that because, and again, condolences as far as that's concerned on that. But tomorrow, it's probably good that you're not there because you're going to hear Laker Tom praising and then you're just going to go, oh my gosh. But all that said and done, my friend, when it comes right down to it, the Lakers have a good roadmap ahead of them. This is a time where they can really pile up some wins. What do you think they need to do to keep getting it done?
Yeah. So first, let me just push back just a little bit because what you do on the court and your final record and how far you go, that matters. And the Lakers did go to the Western Conference 2 years ago. So as much as people want to criticize Darvin, he maximized that team's talent. That team got as far as they possibly could get. Short of maybe, D'Lo playing respectable in that series. Who knows? That probably could have been a decent, even more competitive series. So we just almost whitewashed that and combined his seasons all into one. And I don't think that's fair. So, but having said that, JJ has a wonderful opportunity. The team believes. They're playing good. They're like Stone said, they seem to be all in the right positions and they're all buying in. So that's all you can really expect as a coach. They're paying attention. They're pretty much executing. Shots sometimes are going to fall. Guys are going to sometimes get beat, but they're pretty much executing what he's demanding of them. So far, so good. What I'm expecting is for the Lakers to close out this this road trip with 2 W's, come back 6-2. Where they got 3 straight at home. You need to win your home games, but even if they stumble one of those games, they're 8-3. And then you can, look at the next chunk of games and set your expectations based on that. So as long as AD is healthy, as long as AD is rolling, the Lakers, they got a puncher's chance against most teams. I mean, the elite of the elite, the Bostons, that's just a different, that's a different level when you got all 5 guys who can defend and all 5 guys who can score. It's just, Lakers don't match up with a team like that. I mean, sure, you can match up with them for one game, but not realistically over the course of a series.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is L-Rob from the Lakerholics crew, Stone Hansen at report_court on Twitter, and of course, John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. But before we head on out, Joe Soro, who's going to be hosting the Nightcap here in just a couple of minutes. He's got some words he wanted to say to you guys before the major plugs come in and we head on out.
Oh, I'm still Danzig here. I got to change it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. I was trying
hold on.
I was trying to fix it while you were off camera there.
Sorry, hold on. Let me get it. Hold on.
To let everybody know that wasn't watching our show last night, you should turn it back. Joe did dress up as Danzig, the former rock star. Yes, last night. So yes, he did have the hair. Just to let everybody know. Yes.
I'll go into this again. I don't know if anybody else is going to come onto the show. You're welcome, but I was coming on to say something, and then L. Rob said something that I have to comment to as well. There's been a positive here this first 6 games that not a lot of people are talking about, and that is LeBron's usage rate. Normally, advanced stats make me cringe, but there are a few that sneak in there that make sense. And a lot of it is still an eyeball view of being able to know. His usage rate in the first 6 games, even though he's averaging almost 34 minutes a game, which actually isn't too bad. I think it might have gone up tonight because he played 36, I believe. So let's just say 34, 35 minutes. This is the second lowest usage rate that he's been at in his career. And it's a hair below, or I should say a hair over his rookie year. I'm putting a positiveness, and I'm putting some kind of positive in this, and that there is something going on, and this is going to tail into L. Rob's comment about Darvin Ham. This is the difference between a schlepper like Darvin Ham and what's looking like JJ Redick. Just that stat, and being able to still have a LeBron James that's productive, yet, and it's actually helping winning. Because what were they last year, the first 6 games? Or were they 2-4, 1-5 actually?
Yeah, they got out of the gates very slow.
So again, I don't know if you have a relationship there, or if there's something close there, L. Rob, that or you're just a nice guy, and I totally get it. But Darvin Ham was an absolute disaster, and I'm not going to use the Western Conference Finals trip as a barometer to who he is and what he is. The bottom line is, he said one comment that turned me off forever, and that is, Laker fans hold on to regular season games too much. And I'm repeating myself here because Elro hadn't been on the show in a while, so I'm going to repeat it again. And it was a slap in the face, considering the fact that they put themselves in a shitty position last year because of that mentality. Had they given a shit for about 4 or 5 more games, they probably would have been a 4 seed. Actually, it was 5 games. If they had given a shit for 5 of those games and won them, they would have been the 4 seed. And God knows what happened after that. So with that, I didn't have any idea what JJ Redick was going to be. I didn't have anything necessarily too negative. Mine was more ventured into the fact that Rob Pelinka sat on both of his thumbs all summer and didn't do shit. But JJ Redick, I had nothing to play off of. He's never been an assistant coach in the NBA. He's never picked up a videotape in the NBA. He's never done anything in the NBA other than being a color commentator. So he has, I wouldn't say surprised, because there's nothing to surprise. It seems like it's looking like in the first month here, factoring in the preseason as well, that he seems to know what he wants to do, and the guys are executing it. And more importantly, is he probably knows his depth sucks, and he's figured out a way to get this thing going as well as it can, and not taxing LeBron, who's getting taxed in a good way. And AD is much younger, so it's okay. Still in his prime, and that's AD. And even with AD and his usage up, he's still not anywhere near the top 20, I don't think. I think he's like 31. So there is a lot of positiveness in what's going on with ball movement, which is something Darvin Ham knew less about than I know, I guess, astronomy. And those little things have shifted in a way where now you have a team that's actually winning out the gate, and they have played some pretty good teams, folks. They always lost to Sacramento. They beat Phoenix, and they probably should have beat them the second time. It is what it is. You're going to lose some of these games. And then, of course, they beat Minnesota to start the year. And then, getting beat up by the Cavs isn't something we can hang our head down too much on. A team is looking like it's going up another level, and Mr. Mitchell is apparently wanting to win an MVP now. So, we're all going to have to see them one more time. So, and that'll be at home. But right now, this is night and day. It is night and day in terms of what this guy's been able to pull the first 6 games. The only issue that's still there, though, is they still need at least 2 more guys on this roster to have any shot of getting lucky and competing for a title.
Rob, before I get it back to Stone and John to go ahead and plug their respective outlets, any last thoughts on what Joe said to elaborate on before we head on out?
No, I mean, it's hard to take issue with most of everything Joe said. I mean, regular season counts. The only thing is you cannot disqualify a Western Conference appearance. It is what it is. You are what your record says you are, and you are what you accomplished. So that was an accomplishment. So you can't just say, okay, well, except for that, or I don't count that. That counts. So, but other than that, everything else. But Darvin's gone. I mean, that's over with. I don't want to relitigate his case. He had his opportunity. He didn't succeed enough. And now it's JJ's turn to bat. So far, so good. Long way to go.
Long way to go.
I'm rooting for him. I like what I see so far. And you know, we'll see. He's still learning the team. So it's really hard to tell. He's still learning his guy. So I'm sure there'll be some things that he can, you know, he'll learn after, you know, being with D'Lo and Christie and Gabe and, you know, and Rui and those guys all this time. He's going to come up with some things that I hope unlock some of their games a little bit better.
So with that, again, the Lakers do win 131 to 125. Stone, where can they find what you work on when you talk about the draft? Where can they find you, and how can they get a hold of you as far as if they have any questions on the NBA draft once you start looking at some players on the videotape?
Yeah, I'm currently on a little bit of a hiatus, but when I get back to it at some point, at report_court is pretty much where you could find anything I have to say about basketball in general, but more specifically the NBA draft. So if you have any interest in any words I blabber about, you can check me out there.
All right. That is at report_court on Twitter. And last but certainly not least, John, great to have you here as well, my friend. You got two great channels to talk about. One is back fresh out of YouTube jail. Please let us know what you're doing right now on Lakers Corner and Clutch Talk.
Yes. I have two channels y'all can check me out at. I got Lakers Corner, that's on YouTube. Dropping Laker game recaps. We'll do some detailed film breakdowns. We got a little bit of just all type of Laker news, and then we got Clutch Talk, which is an NBA talk show. Drop 2 episodes per week, one on Sunday recapping the week of the NBA, and then one on Wednesday. And Jay, yes, appreciate you for putting the links. And Jay, to answer your question, I will be starting to get my streams going on that channel as well too. It's just because being a father, working, and trying to run these 2 channels makes it very hard to find some time during the week. But I will find some time during the week to get some consistent streams going on those 2 channels. I just love coming on here. I love talking hoops with you guys. And then last thing that I do want to say to Sean said, anyone who decided before game 1 that JJ would be a great coach was smoking hopamine. I think that's what you're saying, right? But I just want to say this, guys, because I have to give myself all the credit in the world. I never said he was going to be an outstanding coach because, like I said, we had never seen. He never even coached a second grade AAU team. But what I did say, and you can go on my Lakers Corner page, and I dropped a video about JJ Redick, is I said, I think he's going to be a good coach in this league for these reasons. He understands X's and O's because I've been listening to this man since 2018, before Mind the Game, before the old man of the 3, when it was just simply JJ Redick and Tommy Alter. So I know he had that. He's been a 15-year NBA vet. He's respected by players. Nowadays, coaching isn't I'm going to be feared. I'm going to be respected. They're listening to me because they respect me, because they know I can talk that talk and I can walk that walk. JJ did that, and he had the ability to connect with players. I said that those 3 reasons were going to be the reasons that he was going to be a good coach, and lo and behold, those 3 reasons are exact reasons that he's a great coach so far. So,
damn, John, that was good.
I'm going to give myself some credit.
That was when you were dropping knowledge on the bubble championship, man. You were slaying everybody there. That was good.
If you want more of that, check out Lakers Corner.
Anybody got a problem with John, they got to come through us too.
Straight up.
Still want to talk to your neighbor, my friend. He is like hiding.
He's running. He's running. He's running. I swear to God, he's running. It's the craziest thing. I told him Joe wants to talk, and he hasn't talked to me since then.
What you got to do is here's what you got to do. You don't need to put real coffee in the cup, but try to time it where when he leaves the house, you just stare at him while you're drinking coffee.
I'm on balcony.
Yeah, just like, sup? Just fuck with him.
You got scared.
I've done that a few times to my friends. Just like randomly, a few of them live near me, and when something like that happens, I'll just stay in my car. I'll just be staring at them, like just nod them, because I gotta wait anyways. I'm waiting on supplies coming or whatever, so I'll actually drive to their house, and I'll know their schedule. And I just gotta stand up there. It's pretty funny actually. It's probably one of the best things I've ever done, where I'm just trolling the shit out of them.
I love it, Joe.
So with that,
yeah, he needs to come. I want to talk to him.
All right. Yes.
Tell him Tell him I want to hear him. I want him to tell us that.
To give everyone an update, John's neighbor came on a show a couple months back, and he's a denier of the Lakers bubble championship in a nutshell. So,
and everybody was the denier of the Dodger championship, and now you can sit on this. See this right here? You sit on it.
Yes. And on that note, it is of course the Lakers.
Not literally, figuratively, sit on it.
I'm going to immediately turn it over to Joe. I'm just going to do the intro for his show right now upcoming, but it is the Lakers winning 131-125. I want to thank L. Rob once again, Stone Hansen once again, and John Costa. Please go ahead, support John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner, Stone at report_court, and L. Rob whenever he wants to deal with those three. Well, I like Michael. Michael's really cool. He's from Hawaii. He's just laid back. He has to deal with those guys 365. L. Rob comes every now and then. He has to deal with Jamie and Laker Tom. No. Yeah, that's I don't envy L. Rob. I get every time I host in place of Jamie L. Rob, I don't know if you've been watching, I get yelled at by Laker Tom. It's like I even start off the sentence like respectfully, Tom, and then by the end of the sentence, I get yelled at by Tom. So there you go. It's just, it is the Lakerholics crew. They'll be yelling at each other tomorrow.
You know how to poke them. You know how to bring that out of Laker Town.
Yeah, I guess I do. I've been doing it for years. L. Rob, will you be on next week's show or the week after?
I'm not sure. I'll be on soon though. So
okay,
I'll keep you guys posted. It's been great seeing everybody.
It's been great seeing you, my friend. Again, best wishes to you. Have a fun time in watching the game on Monday live at Detroit, watching the Lakers in Detroit. Looking forward to it. It is, of course, the Lakers fast break, but for now, Lakers win 131-125. We now turn it over. Guys, we're going off screen and bringing on Joe Soro right now for the nightcap.
And we're back. We are back with the Lakers fast break nightcap. You all know who I am. Well, I'll tell you in case this is the first time. My name is Joe Soro. That's my name. I come with a few nicknames, some self-done and some given, some thrown at me. Ox 1947 is my moniker. And as you can see on my right, those are my fraternity colors. That's where the genesis of Ox comes from. Now, Ox is not actually technically correct. It's supposed to be theta. That's what the O there is in Greek, but I can't obviously put theta in my emails, which is when I birthed that name. And then 1947 is the year that the fraternity was established. But anyways, some of you know that, some of you don't. But I want to get back to the game tonight. The Lakers beat the Toronto Raptors 131-125 in a game that was kind of a tale of two halves. The Lakers came out the gate pretty aggressively. They were, I think they won the quarter 43-19. Ended up winning the second quarter as well. They had, I believe, a 25-point lead in the half, going into the half, and then they slowly went downhill from there in the third quarter. Not a surprise. Complacency tends to happen in games like this, and Toronto came back and kind of covered up about 14 points of that, and then they ended up winning the fourth quarter by only 5. Lakers win by 6, and the Lakers now are 4-2 through 6 games, which is a huge improvement from last year. I believe they were 1-5 last year. Anthony Davis had another stellar night. 38 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Missed only 1 free throw out of 11. Shot really well, 14 of 20 from the field. LeBron James had a really cool stat tonight. He had 27 points, 10 assists, and had absolutely no turnovers. Love seeing that. Anytime you get a 10-0 ratio on assists to turnovers, that's a huge win. That usually means you're going to win the game. Reaves dropped 20. His average is now almost 18 points a game. And I remember we discussed that for this team to improve, we're going to need Austin to probably shoot a little bit better, at least from 3, and probably score a little bit. And so far, he's doing that. So it explains why the 4-2 record is here. He did twist his ankle a little bit. I don't know if he was playing off adrenaline after he kind of got it probably retaped. But it's good to monitor that, see if he's going to continue in the next game against Detroit. My guess is he's a young guy. Maybe he didn't tweak it as bad as I thought he did since he came back. Hopefully get some treatment and get ready to play against Detroit in a few days. Tonight, D'Angelo Russell finally kind of broke out of the horrible, just dead spot from preseason and through 5 games. Had 19 points, shot 3 of 6 from 3. I think with D'Angelo, it's always a waiting game with him. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out, and we'll determine kind of what's next with him. I'm always in that mode of, when he's on, he's a huge asset. When he's off, you want to trade him right away for anything that can come and help you. Rui Hachimura didn't really have a good game tonight. My concern with Rui isn't so much when he doesn't have a good game. It's my issues is a guy that big, a guy that wide, a guy that athletic. He should be able to handle contact at the rim, and he didn't handle contact at the rim very well, and did not execute the shorties there very, very well. He needs to really work on that and solve that problem should the Lakers make the playoffs. And that was it. I think at this point the Lakers. I mean, do I really want? You guys really want me to talk about the bench? I was trying to avoid it, but since you guys are asking, Jay, I'll placate you here. Okay, I'll indulge you here. So the bench. Max Christie had his best game so far. He hit all 5 of his free throws, made his 1 shot attempt, and scored 7 points. He did look aggressive on the rebounds, so I'll give him that. But he's still lost. He's still lost on when to cut, when to move, when to dive, how to guard the guy in front of him, and not worry about getting screened so that he has to think about going over or under. Max Christie plays like he's a rookie every year. I would think in his 3rd season, he'd have a good feel for this right now, but he doesn't. Joe, after 6 games, what are we thinking about the defense? The defense could be worse, but it's not. One thing I have noticed is their court balance is good enough to where they've been able to not get killed on offensive rebounds and still get back on defense. Now, initially, they were getting killed on fast breaks, but they've kind of sort of fixed that a little bit. But they also haven't played a lot of teams the last few days where the fast break has been a kind of a thing. Cavs were just murdering them in the half court every time they got over. They just ran their pick and rolls. They were passing real well. Guys were getting open. Guys were getting separation, and they were just running a layup line against the Lakers. And that's just Cleveland has that talent. They have that ability to do that, and I think they're probably going to be one of the more improved teams here in the next few months, and could be a top 3 team in the East. And initially, I was thinking maybe the Celtics, Sixers, and Knicks, but those guys are going to have to stay healthy in New York and Philly to not not have Cleveland probably sneak in there. So we're gonna need, we got some time here to wait on that. We'll figure out how that turns out later. Let's see. Can Max at least give us 8 points since he's making 8? Oh boy, it's guys. It's not about the points. It's about can he create a game that can sustain while the guys are sitting. And what I mean by the guys is the guys like LeBron and AD. And JJ Redick has done a really good job of keeping one of those guys in and still not having them being used too much. There's a lot of balance. There's a lot of, when you have ball movement and good spacing and people are really trying to do well, it does help. It does help. The only issue with Max Christie is I don't think he's talented enough. No, he's not talented enough to do it on a consistent basis, which is why he was probably overly working on those rebounds. Because what do you do when you can't score, can't get open, can't do anything? Well, you do the dirty work. And if he was 6'9" with maybe another 50 pounds, I'd say he'd probably have a career just playing the grunt guy. But unfortunately, Max Christie weighs about 60 pounds less than me, yet he's 5 inches taller and doesn't really have a lot of strength. So it is what it is. Let's see. I saw a question for Vando. Joe, are you expecting anything from Vando? Vando will help on defense, and he will have really good games here and there, but it will not be consistent, and he will get exploited by the good teams, which is what happened in the 2023 season, especially when they went into the playoffs and faced Denver. They absolutely neutralized Vanderbilt because he can't play offense, and their offensive talent. There's nothing that Vando can do with that team. You have very, very tall, long guys like Michael Porter Jr., and then you have athletic freaks like Aaron Gordon, and then of course he's not going to be able to guard Jamal Murray, and then no one can guard Jokic. So that's a bad matchup, not only for the Lakers, but just even the guys that can play defense on our team. It's just not good. Those guys are ridiculously fundamentally sound, except for Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon still has to use his athleticism, but that's the thing, is it's not as good as it was 5 years ago, but it's still better than anybody on that court, especially the Lakers as well, with LeBron being as seasoned as he is. JJ is also calling nice timeouts. JJ, I was saying again a few minutes ago on Postgame, JJ, we didn't know what to expect from JJ, but it's looking like JJ knows what he's doing. It looks like he knows what he's doing, and I am not expecting too much negativity towards JJ at this point. If the Lakers start to hit the skids, it's going to be because of lack of talent. It's not going to be because JJ's not coaching correctly. He is coached very well, and I am very impressed. I am absolutely impressed with his coaching style and his coaching info and his coaching acumen. I mean, I'm with it. I'm actually more in the mode now where I'm like, Rob, go get this kid some freaking talent. This looks like a huge check on that board that you just solved, and you gotta figure something out. And I don't know if that's talking into the air because there's nothing to give. The Lakers have nothing to give, and there's a rumbling starting in Milwaukee. Unfortunately, Giannis makes way too much money for the Lakers to go anywhere near that, so there's not a lot of hope there. I don't know. I'm still going to stick with the initial hope, as much as I hate using that, but I'm going to use it because Gerald's not here. But they got to get someone that's offensively talented and also get someone that can add to that front line. And I'm still looking at that trade at Atlanta with Bogdanovich and Clint Capella. That might be your only realistic chance of getting both of those things solved and having a realistic chance of possibly getting them as much as you can. Still don't have much, but maybe Atlanta, maybe Rob can figure something out, or maybe there's a 3-team trade there where somebody, Atlanta could be happy with whatever the third team gives them. I don't know, but that would honestly, if the Lakers made that trade, let's say, the reason why I'm using that one is because Clint Capella is on his last season's contract, and Bogdanovich only makes around D'Lo money, and you have to this CBA, you have to match those damn contracts. There's no other way to go, and you have guys that are young enough and would work with this particular setup that JJ Redick is using. Imagine the ball movement with someone like Bogdanovich, and imagine the ball movement with someone like Clint Capella. This is a system that would work really, really well with them. And imagine those guys not having to have LeBron and AD as the 1 and 2 or the 1 and 1A. Those guys are going to get a lot more opportunities to score. They're going to get better spacing. It would solve their issue right now. And then there might have a shot. They might have a shot at that point, but that's all we can do is hope and wait here. It's probably going to take us about a month and a half for anything to start kind of going, because certain players can't get traded until December 15th. I think it's only Max Christie. I think that they have to wait till December 15th because they signed him during the summer. But that's a nice chunk that you can maybe get rid of if you can. Joe, what would be your backup option to improve the team? I don't know. I looked at every team's roster, no joke, and the Atlanta one is the only one because the Lakers are they're dead with any options in terms of assets. I couldn't find anything other than Atlanta team to see of a possibility of it happening, and the salaries made sense and the structures of those salaries. I don't see any other team, honestly. I just don't. The Lakers could trade Austin, Rui, D'Angelo, and 2 first-round picks for possibly a third star and just say, screw it. Let's just go with these 3 guys and see if we can get lucky. Who would that be? Would it be a LaMelo? Would LaMelo all of a sudden go to the front office in Charlotte and say, hey, I want to be traded? We've talked about that. That might be the only one. Who else? Would you go do that with New Orleans and get Brandon Ingram back? Probably not, because I'm trying to find a legitimate third guy, and LaMelo would be a pretty good third guy. Brandon Ingram could be a good third guy. I don't know. I don't know who else would trade. I'm obviously sticking to the teams out east because I just don't have any hope for anybody in the West helping the Lakers out. Kessler, guys, I could have talked about Kessler out the gate, but you all know who runs shit over there, okay? I'm not dropping 2 first-round picks for Kessler. I'm sorry, I'm not. That guy makes less than Max Christie. I know he's going to make more on his next contract, but I'm not dropping 2 first-round picks. I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen. And if you are going to drop a draft pick for Kessler, a first with a protected, let's say a 29 pick protected in the lottery. Otherwise, I'm not making that trade. I'm sorry. I'm not going to jeopardize the future for someone, for Kessler. I'm just not. Sean, I don't think Kuzma is going to solve our problems. Maybe a little bit on defense, but he's too streaky as a shooter. That's why I was sticking to Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich is a consistent scorer. This team needs a scorer. They need a consistent scorer. And Bogdanovich would do that for you, especially with a lot of the attention going to AD and going to LeBron. That solves a huge problem, especially if you can get him without giving up Austin Reaves. I mean, if you're able to make a trade where you're trading Rui, D'Angelo, whatever package off the bench, and a few draft picks to get Clint Capella and Bogdanovich without giving up Reaves, you're setting yourself up really, really well to go after it one more time. Halliburton has been bad this season in Indy so far. Could we try? No, Ruff. I don't think Halliburton's going anywhere. I don't know if this is from Olympic fatigue. Could be, sort of, maybe focus, maybe just a bad start. I wouldn't say that Halliburton is. I think Halliburton will come back down or come back to earth. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Dennis and Clarkson could be options. Yeah, they could be. The Lakers have to get two, though. They have to get a big man, and they have to get someone like a Clarkson or a Dennis. But see, Dennis is not a scorer in a lot of ways. He's more of a ball handling guard, right? I don't know necessarily if you need that right now. It would help if you were able to just get him, like if you were to add him to this team. But I don't think they're going to be able to get. I don't think they're going to be able to get him, get Dennis Schroeder without giving something up that's going to leave a hole on the team. Clarkson, hell, I mean, if we're talking about somehow adding him to the mix without giving up anything of relevance, you got the perfect bench guy. I mean, that's the guy you want off the bench that's scoring. Heck, you can use him as spurts with the starters as well. I would love that. I really would. I just don't know what the Lakers would have to give up. So yeah, it's a tough one, man. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's a tough one. But I'm gonna say I'm very happy that I'm very happy that they've started out 4-2. I wasn't too mad about the Phoenix game. I kind of thought that was going to be a loss. I did think the Cleveland loss was coming as well. I had in my original thoughts is that those two games would probably be losses. The only thing I didn't like about the loss in Cleveland was how bad it was, and the fact that the focus was on fucking Bronny James again, and that set me off that whole night. Like it really just made me irritated, and I almost reverted back to my kind of being upset about kind of where the Lakers are, because I'm just like, dude, can you guys stop with this shit already? I don't want to see this guy on the team. Go put him in the damn G League. Let him fail there. This team needs to win. I'm tired of this soap opera. I really am. We're already dealing with this, and now we have to deal with putting up with this garbage. I'm over it. The Lakers can do us all a favor and win the next two games, come back 6-2, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. I'll be very happy. You're 10% through the season, and you're 6-2. That's a hell of a way to start. And then after this, things are going to start getting interesting. Looking at the schedule right now, with health being an issue in a lot of these places, I think the Grizzlies have Bane on a week-to-week, so I don't think he's going to be playing of course, with the Lakers. You never know. They always show up when they play the Lakers. But right now, I guess they're reevaluating Desmond Bane, for the week due to his injury. So let's say if he's not available on the 6th when they play the Grizzlies on their last leg of the road trip, there's a possibility that's a win. I like to think that they're going to beat the Pistons. So I'm putting a W there. But the Grizzlies one right now, I got to see how that materializes. And if Bane isn't available, it's going to make it much easier for the Lakers to possibly steal that one. The next game would be against the Sixers at home, the Raptors again. So they get done with the Raptors pretty early this year, and then of course they play the Grizzlies again. So 3 straight road home games after they get back from this road trip. I'd like to see if they can get 2 out of 3 at least there. I'd say it's a very big possibility you can get all 3, especially if Philly's not healthy. But if they are, that's going to be a tough one to win. But let's say they do 2 and 3 out of that 3-game homestand. You're looking at now 8-4. I'm sorry, 8-3. 8-3. I think that's pretty good. 8-3 sounds pretty damn good. Hey, Joe, the Lakers have the G-Bot on their team. Great brat of all time. Your comments on the King dragging his son along on the road trip. Yeah, this is... Yeah, I don't like it. I know that the coach is doing well, players are playing relatively well. I don't like it. I I want focus more on winning. I don't want to see it. I don't believe this is an earned scenario. He's only there because it's LeBron James's kid, and I hate that shit. I really do. This is, if it was an office job, if it was a family business situation, that's different. This is sports, man. This is he took a spot that could have gone to someone that could help us win. And the people that are delusional and talking out of their ass about how, well, you're not going to really get anybody at that pick. Well, folks, you have two guys on this team that weren't drafted and are contributors. I know Gabe Vincent isn't that big of a contributor, but he's an NBA player and he's played well in his career. Not playing well right now, but he's an NBA player. So people need to stop talking about, oh, it doesn't matter. You look like a fool. This isn't the 80s. This isn't the 90s anymore. Talent is being found. For those of you, again, who keep forgetting this, there is a player that got picked in the second round that has won 3 MVPs in the last 4 years. So stop telling me that this team didn't have to worry about that particular pick, because right now we could use it, especially considering you butchered the pick last year and now you have one less roster spot there with anybody that could help us. Imagine if they were able to just go with what made sense at that moment. You would have had an athletic, legit NBA basketball player last year, and then maybe you would have had somebody at 55 that could at least contribute in some way. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. Who knows? But we're not going to know about that. We're not going to, at this point, it's just hot air, so it doesn't matter. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited about kind of what's going on here, and I hope it continues. So what other questions did you guys have? Let's see here. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about, Chris. Cam Whitmore. See, it's easy, and I'm trying to be realistic here too, because everything's hindsight's 20/20. But Podmayeski. I always can Podmayeski. I can never say it right. Podmayeski and Triple J in Miami. Everyone is talking about them in terms of the bad selection last year. But see, we didn't know what those guys were going to be. Really, it's easy to see it now, but we didn't. You didn't really know. Cam Whitmore was a guy that you knew, and you blew it. And that's what that is. In case for those who have been here for the first time and don't know. So let's see here. Zach Edey will go for 20 and 10 to exact revenge against Gerald for Gerald's dissing of him. Zach Edey. I'm cheering for him, guys, but jury's still out on Zach Edey and what he's going to be. I'm not gonna go there yet. Zach Edey's game is not necessarily tailored to today's game, unless he starts to shoot and move a little bit better. And maybe he will. Maybe he'll do a Brook Lopez and do it. That, to me, was his ceiling. He could be a Brook Lopez or he could be a Jahlil Okafor. I think those are probably the two names that came up when I kept thinking about kind of what he's doing. And he's in Memphis right now, so there's not a lot of pressure in Memphis. Their offense is kind of tailored towards more his talents anyways. I know John Morant likes to go up and down, but you can get a little bit of that half-court offense with him, and defenses can draw towards Ja, obviously, and then, of course, Edey can get a lot of those bounce passes or alley-oops for dunks. I think if he's really working on his game and really being focused, it's going to be a good one for him, at least for his rookie year. The other thing is, if they start drawing him out, that's where he's got to really get better in terms of defense. These teams a good team will draw him out, and they will wear him out. When there's NBA tape of Zach Edey that every team can look at over and over again and gets used to it, he's going to have to adjust. Otherwise, he's going to get exploited all over the place. So Gerald's not wrong yet, folks. You got to let this play out a little bit. Let's see here. Incorrect, Sean. It wasn't just me, Sean. Yeah, of course. As soon as you say something to Gerald, right away he comes out with his little red flag. Why don't you just let people talk, Gerald? Let them think what they think. I thought you were the fact checker. I piss 10 times longer than Bronny's game time. Hey, Mission, you ever seen the movie Revenge of the Nerds? It was the second one, the one where they went to Miami Beach. There's a scene in there that if you guys haven't seen it, go on YouTube, put Revenge of the Nerds, ogre peeing. It is one of the funniest scenes in that 80s raunchy movie era. Ogre is in the background while all the preppy fraternity guys are talking about trying to get rid of the nerds, and he's pissing for like 5 minutes. And there's a scene where the guys like randomly start like looking at that, like this guy's still pissing, and still the scene is still going on. It's a freaking classic. Donald Gibb doesn't get enough credit. Donald Gibb was in some of my favorite movies growing up. Revenge of the Nerds. He was in Bloodsport. Absolute icon. Absolute just. And I've heard nothing but great things about him. I've had friends of mine that have met him and hung out with him. And it's kind of one of my bucket list things where I could hang out and drink beer with Ogre one day. I don't know. I hope he stays alive long enough for me to do it. But yeah, it's Bronny's time. Bronny's time needs to just go. It just needs to go. This team needs to really focus on. I wrote it down phonetically. Mission here. Let me. But I still can't say his name. Pajamieski. I guess I'm just going to call him Brandon P. Brandon P from GS. GS from, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Sorry. What's up, Juan? How's Australia? All my Aussie friends, all the Aussie crews. I love when you guys say mate. I can hear it when you say it. I love it. Australia, Joe Soro, I don't know what it is, folks, but every Australian I've ever met, for some reason, we click. We just click. Pods. Yeah, I'm just going to call them Pods. That's a good one, Ruff. I'm going to do that. What are you shaking your head for, G? What happened now? What happened to my crew? Did no one wanted to come onto the nightcap? I was wrong once, Gerald. I lost count of the Big Ten teams, which was unforgivable, as I am an Ohio State alum, but you dissed Edie, and he's proving you wrong. Oh. What do you got to say about that, Gerald? Huh? Defend yourself. Defend yourself. Come on. Come on the show. Where are you? Do it. Stop eating and get over here. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so yeah, Lakers win 131-125 against the Raptors. LeBron James continues to own Toronto. Poor Toronto. They were pretty excited tonight. It was lively tonight. And Lakers, yeah, hey, a win's a win, folks. That's all we can ask for right now. I'm going to kind of veer towards something else here today because we all know that I've been kind of focused a lot on the Dodgers here the last few weeks, actually month. And I can't tell you guys how good it feels to it feels so good how they won and who they beat. It reminded me a lot of how the 2010 season for the Lakers went. I mean, just beating the Celtics in the finals, beating the Suns in the Western Conference Finals. There was a lot of that kind of, even though the Lakers had beaten Phoenix. For those of you who don't know, the Celtics have beaten the Lakers in the playoffs more than any team in the NBA. They've lost. They've met in the finals. What is it? 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 10 times. Is it 10? 3, 7. Yeah. They've met in the finals 10 times, and the Celtics have 7 wins over them. The Lakers have 3. So the Dodgers, or I'll start with Phoenix. Phoenix is the second team. They've beaten the Lakers 5 times in their history. They've seemed to have had our number in the playoffs. Even when they had the best record in 1990, Pat Riley's last season, they whooped the Lakers in 5. And then they beat them in 93 when the Lakers were up 2-0 after leaving Phoenix, too. They had 2 games at home. Totally shit the bed in game 4 when they had the game. Phoenix beat them unmercifully during Kobe's down year when his team weren't championship contenders in 2006, 2007. And it was nice to see Kobe kind of really, really make him eat it in that Western Conference Finals. They won in 6, and then they went on to beat the Celtics in 7. And it just kind of put a bow on that whole experience of revenge and the fact that they beat the Celtics in the finals. And I hadn't really seen with my adulthoodness in a Lakers Celtic win. Fast forward to this world or the playoff run today or this month, you had the Dodgers beat San Diego, who were their rivals. Get revenge on them over 2022. The Mets, it being New York, and revenge for the Mets beating us in 2015 at home in Game 5, and then of course beating the Yankees in the World Series. That's the equivalent of the Lakers beating the Celtics in the finals, and I was very happy to see that in my lifetime as an adult. I was alive in the last one, but I wasn't obviously old enough to remember it or even have any vested interest in it. So it was a win, but it was also how they won, and it was a great time. And they had the parade today. Kudos, and I don't say this a lot about the city of LA. Kudos to the city of LA. They organized probably one of the best. From what I saw, I wasn't there, but from what I heard from people that I didn't know that were there, they organized one of the best parades that I think they could have set up, considering the circumstances right now, or with that city. I did know, and I did hear a lot of good things about the 2009 parade with the Lakers and how they drew everybody kind of to an area, and I think they did that for the Dodgers as well. And the way they did it was beautiful. The way they walked in on the blue carpet, had the fans there. I thought the way they structured that was amazing. I thought there was a lot of emotion. Teoscar Hernandez was crying. You had Kershaw crying and screaming, and you saw Ohtani speaking English a little bit, Yamamoto just a little bit, Kike shitting on his cultural brother, Fat Joe. I thought that was kind of harsh, but it was funny. But yeah, so I've been kind of back and forth, and I want to apologize for not being available as much, even though I've tried to still be available. This win was the start of something, guys. This is very, very much like the 2000 Lakers. The 2000 Lakers, even though they were stacked and they had Phil Jackson, there was a lot of talk that year was supposed to be the first kind of springboard to getting ready to win the following year. And they interviewed Phil Jackson about that and said, he said, hey, we didn't think, he thought it might take a year to get acclimated to the triangle and all that. And they ended up, running right out the gate and winning. And they ended up winning the title, obviously. And they did struggle, but they ended up winning much similar to like the Dodgers. They were the best record, just like the Lakers in 2000. But the issues were their pitching staff absolutely disintegrated towards the end of the year, and they had no clear-cut one, and in a lot of ways, not even a 2. Buehler he was struggling in the regular season, and Yamamoto had only played really half a season. Jack Flattery he wasn't even there half the year. He wasn't even there more than half the year. So, and he's good for 1 out of every 2, so he's good 50% of the time. But Dave Roberts, who was much maligned, and I'm still trying to be very clear on it with everyone. And I said, guys, I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon because he's winning right now. I go, he had made some bad decisions in the past, but what he did this year was he finally seemed to listen, whether it's to himself, whether there was issues with articles coming out in August saying he might not make it through if they don't win it. I don't know what it was. Kind of suspicious, though, that it came out the way it did. I think somebody leaked it. But he had, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, I've seen a lot of baseball in my time, guys. He absolutely had probably the greatest management of everything on this team, on a team for a playoff run that I've ever seen. I'm putting this in the category of Greg Popovich in 2014. That's still the best season I've ever seen a coach have in my time. And you can't deny it. And the reason why, there's a lot of reasons, but the main reason why is he finally got out of that analytical rut that he allowed himself to stay in. And maybe he talked to Friedman and said, hey, man, you got to let me make a couple calls here on my own. And when he did, there were instances, a lot of instances during this run where I said he changed. He changed. He let Buehler in to face one more batter. He did it again 2 nights ago when he let Blake finish it off. The bunt, the sacrifice bunts that moved guys in during that San Diego series and ended up getting runs. Folks, analytics don't want you to ever bunt. They don't want you to take any outs. But, man, when it comes to winning baseball, you got to do anything and everything you can, and the sheet won't always help you. So I want to tip my hat for Doc. He's Doc again, and I am going to support him the rest of the way. Never going to have a bad word to say about him. I'll criticize him if I think he makes a bad call, but it won't be in jest. It won't be in a situation where I'm like, he doesn't know what he's doing. Hey, he made a bad call. He screwed up. It is what it is. And yeah, so that's my Dodger button for the night. Sorry, folks. I wanted to throw that out there. I know some of you follow me on that, but I'll get back to the Lakers here. I'm going to talk about this next couple games. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I feel very confident that they're going to win in Detroit. I don't know about that Memphis game. I think that Memphis game is going to be something that might be a pretty close game. We talked about at the tail end of the post-game show that probably the best thing that J.J. Redick has done, besides the obvious, is that his ability to continue to do what he's doing and not having LeBron James play too much stress ball. I'd say that in itself wins Coach of the Year. LeBron does not look like he's putting out a lot of energy in these games, and he's still playing very well. And it makes sense, doesn't it? I think it makes sense. The fact that he had 10 assists with no turnovers. A lot of times turnovers are fatigue driven. There's this element of chance where you want to make a pass and you need to thread it. Kind of like Brett Favre back in the day. He always believed he could thread it. But LeBron does that. But if he doesn't do that, then my drink's right here, bud. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been talking. Usually when I'm talking like this, I don't get a chance to. I usually have Gerald with me or someone, and I can kind of, while he's talking, I can have a drink. But I usually don't like to be rude and drink while I'm talking. Usually I try to keep it at a minimum. But yeah, the fatigue plays a big factor in those turnovers, because when you're fatigued, you want to get things done quicker typically because you're tired. So that's why when you're tired, you're more apt to shoot versus try to put energy towards going to the basket or posting somebody up. But tonight's game showed you. I'm drinking rum and Coke, Jeremy. Rum and Pepsi, technically. So you had LeBron be extremely efficient. As I don't remember him having a double-digit assist game with no turnovers. I'm sure there have been ones, but I don't remember. I don't remember seeing it. So that's great. He's scoring 20 points, dishing 10 assists with no turnovers, and your team wins. And yeah, he's playing 34, 35 minutes, but it's not a hard 34, 35. So JJ Redick right now is continuing to just keep going up and up. And if after 30 games, they're sitting at 20-10, 18-12, let's say, I'm going to say that there's the Lakers may have their coach. And that has been a while. That has been a while, man. That has been a while where I could say they've had their coach. Now, I thought Frank Vogel was going to be the coach for a while, but I knew it wouldn't be probably more than 5 years at most. It didn't work out at 3. I thought 5 for sure because they were going to have this run with AD and LeBron. But I thought it would cap at 5. I mean, if Phil Jackson capped at 5 in both his stints, it's, Frank Vogel's not going to play coach more than 5. He's going to coach for this little run, and then they'll go find somebody else. However, JJ Redick is 40 years old, and if he's going to coach this well, I absolutely highly recommend that you keep this guy for the next 10 to 15 years, and you start setting the next group up when LeBron retires, so that we don't have to ever deal with this coaching issue. I'm really, really hoping for that. I really am, because I actually got a little inkling I got a little bit of a thought process where, man, I hope he doesn't coach so well that if the Lakers don't take care of him, if they treat him like crap, like they've done so many other coaches, that he might leave, and there'll be a team out there that's a coach away. That's something that you have to kind of consider too. It could be scary, but we won't worry about that right now. I'm hoping that things go well this year so we can, enjoy the process. So let's see here. Where are we? AD and LeBron had great synergy tonight. A bunch of LeBron's assists were AD's buckets. Yeah, and that's how it should be, Sean. Was Bronny on the bench for this game, Joe? He was until the last 7 seconds of the game. Mission, yeah, 27-3 would work. If that happens, it's likely that I don't even know what that would. Winning the next going 23-1. Come on, I'd love it. Believe me, I'd love it, but not likely. LeBron, the coach killer. Yeah, I got a lot of flack for that from Sean Harder specifically. He knocked me on a stat that I screwed up on, and I admit it. He's only played for 10 coaches instead of an 11. I did slap my friend for that, by the way. He said 11, and I didn't fact check that one. And the good thing about that particular situation is I'll never, ever not fact check, even if somebody tells me, even if somebody that knows basketball like I do in a lot of ways. Actually, he doesn't know as much as I do, but when he said 11, he's a basketball guy. I kind of took him for his word, but technically LeBron has played for 10 coaches, not 11, and one of those was an interim coach. So really, all in all, coach, it's really 9. LeBron is the Michael Myers of coaches. I don't know about that one. At least they have Scott Brooks and Nate McMillan as assistant compared to previous inexperienced assistants. You guys know I don't really care much about assistants, but let's give Brooks and McMillan a pat on the back, man. Looks like maybe they're ushering in JJ really well. Good for them. Joe, by the way, I picked up Bloody Mary mix after work. Should I add? Oh, yes. Add ice. And I mean add ice. If you can get crushed ice, because a lot of times when you're drinking the blocks, the rocks, sorry, not the blocks. When you're drinking the blocks, a lot of times you can't really sip it the right way. And I'm not a straw guy. I think when you use the straw, you want it to touch your mouth. So do the crushed ice, and what that does is it makes you drink it, but you don't drink it too much. You kind of sip a little bit more, but you kind of savor the flavor a little bit more instead of straight Bloody Mary with a straw. Or if it's rocks, you're messing with the rocks kind of in your face. I looked it up, Joe, as I knew nothing about LeBron before 218. He was the enemy before 2. I was a big supporter of LeBron after the decision. And and what I mean by supporter is I didn't understand. I still don't understand why the hell random people hated him so much for that. If you're a Cleveland fan, I got it. Totally get it. Totally get it. One guy said, "Why would you do that to Cleveland? Why would you go on TV, make us wait, and do some kind of like game show situation with it?" Totally got that one from Cleveland Cavalier fans. But then you got other people like, "Oh, look what he did." I'm like, why do you give a shit? It's not your team. Who cares? But that comes back down to, again, the disdain and jealousy people inherently have. Human beings are naturally jealous, envious beings. You have to fight that out of your system. Just like we're lustful and deviant, things like that by nature. It's a survival mindset in a lot of ways, because when people were jealous or confrontational back in the day, they were fighting for freaking land, for women, for food. We haven't gotten, like, the human species hasn't gotten away from that all the way. It's still kind of relatively new that we're as civilized as we are. It's going to probably take a few more hundred years to kind of get out of that, as technology helps as well. So you have that kind of jealousy, and as soon as a rich, successful guy makes a mistake, well, here come the jealous brigade, and see, he doesn't care. See, he's selfish. Now, I'm not saying LeBron isn't selfish. You all know how I feel about LeBron. Massive narcissist. Loves himself more than I think I've ever seen any of these guys love themselves. And I'm talking about the big guys. I mean, they really, really love themselves. Shaq is probably in that same boat, but the thing with Shaq is he's got enough. He's been slapped in the face enough during his upbringing where he can kind of balance that out sometimes. Whereas LeBron never really had a male authoritative figure. So he is the way he is, and this is what it is. What grading do you give JJ after these few games, Joe? A. I give him an A. Absolutely. I have been very impressed. I'm very impressed with JJ Redick. I'm not gonna lie. I had no idea. I had no idea what was coming. But I'm glad he's here. I really am. I think he knows how to coach. X's and O's. I think he knows how to coach. The jury's going to be out for a minute here, because we're going to see what happens when the brunt of the season has been completed. How they're going to react to him. How he's going to react to the flights, the irritation of things. Those still need time. 6 games is not enough. It may even take another year or two to really see that as well. You might not see it this year. He's young. He's enthusiastic. He's motivated. Whether they win or not, I don't think that'll play into there typically. I think he has enough energy and enough moxie to deal with that. But you'll know probably in 2 to 3 years if this is something that's going to be about, if it's going to be a career for him. I really, really believe that. I'm not drinking the JJ Kool-Aid. Folks, I'm in the results business. You all know that. You all know that. Too hype, I don't know. I haven't seen you here before, so I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. I'm in the results business, okay? If I predicted something wrong, and I'm gonna come to the table and say, "Yep, here's my hand. Smack it with the hammer." Have I been wrong on JJ Redick? No, because I had no idea about him. Where I can be wrong is this team not playing well, because I predicted that they're going to be a disaster. And right now, they're not looking like a disaster, at least not right now. So and I'm wanting to be wrong. Believe me, I want to be wrong. I am a Laker fan, folks. I want the Lakers win every game. But no activity during the draft. Focus was not on getting players. They were focused on something else. You all know what that is. And then no activity in terms of bringing any kind of talent to this team, despite the issues with the resource. Well, I don't understand, folks. Why is it that guys like Sam Presti seem to find guys like Alex Caruso? Oh, well, he had Giddey to throw that way. Well, I get that, but you've got something that figure it out. And then you had Boston last year getting Drew Holiday, which was a Rasheed Wallace acquisition like the Detroit Pistons in 04. If the 04 Pistons don't get Rasheed Wallace, they don't win the championship. He was that perfect piece on that team. Drew Holiday was the same guy. And this is with the Celtics continuing to compete. And he found that one thing, even with all of those salaries and all that max contract stuff, still was able to make something work. So I'm expecting Rob Pelinka to figure something out. That's how it's supposed to be. You have to. You have LeBron and AD on this team. Got to take advantage of it. And right now, AD is playing like the MVP. The MVP. It's him, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum. Right now, it's those three right now out of the gate that are balling. You got to take advantage of this, folks. This is what AD is going to be all year. You can't let this go. That means he's got to get talent here to make a run. Joe, how do we look as a team in comparison to last year's team? I know same team pretty much, but maybe different attitude. Absolutely. Different attitude. They're moving. They're the rebounding has been night and day. They're not getting killed on those offensive rebounds. Their one little hiccup against Cleveland was it was Swiss cheese defense. But Cleveland is a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup for the Lakers, man. It's a really bad matchup. If they're not on, if like LeBron and AD aren't doing their thing, Cleveland is a bad matchup because they have young players. They have young players that are really, really good and guys that can control the tempo, can move, can get to the basket. They're big, they're long, they don't miss at the rim. And those type of things against guys like Rui, who does, D'Angelo sometimes is in bad positions. Yeah, you got Garland, you got Donovan Mitchell on the backcourt. You're paying those guys $70 million combined. That's a pretty damn good backcourt. And then you got Jared Allen and Mobley, who, they're gonna run pretty well against this team if AD and LeBron aren't really, really like taking over. So, but other than that game, I think they've played very competitive ball, and they could have been 5-1 right now if they had a couple things go their way against Phoenix, and they got kind of screwed by the refs in that game too. That was a kind of a shitty game towards the end. What if we had hired Kenny Atkinson instead? I don't know. I really don't know. I think Kenny's a good coach, but maybe Kenny wouldn't click with LeBron. JJ Redick, I think, ultimately was hired because I think maybe the Lakers said, well, let's get a coach that's got some untapped talent, but also we don't have to worry about him not liking LeBron or LeBron not liking him. I think that's what it's looking like right now. Mission, anyone want a match? Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it, guys. Again, it's not a lot, but it's enough to where we can start doing some things here. Subscription numbers are going up a little bit quicker now than they were during the summer. So thank you again for all your help, guys. I really do. I am going to possibly be off tomorrow. I might sneak in if the Lakerholics are on, just to talk on the chat.
Yeah, they'll be on at noon tomorrow.
I can't hear you, G.
Can you hear me now?
Good. So
they'll be on at noon tomorrow. They'll be on
good,
12
good.
12
so
p.m.
We have a game on Sunday, and we'll obviously have the nightcap and the post game there. But I want to thank everyone for being here on the nightcap. Again, I'm sorry if I wasn't showing you my drink. Again, when I'm by myself, I'm trying to not be doing this while I'm talking. I'd like to give as much information out as possible. It's been a lot going on. And I actually felt yesterday after everything had finished that I felt like I was neglecting my Laker people. But a lot of you all have been kind of going back and forth too with me and Empire Jeff on the Dodger channels. And for those of you who've been wanting some more Dodger knowledge. Again, anytime you guys want, my social medias, but I will repeat them again. You can get me on Facebook at Johnny Blade. You'll see now, instead of the Punisher logo, you will see the statue of Freeman. And if you look at it, you'll know what it is. It's the Statue of Freedom. Freedom. Technically, Statue of Liberty, but you know what I mean. Statue of Freeman, which still has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, that's not a disrespect. It's not a disrespect. I love New York. Love New York. Love it. My family loves it. We love New York. And my quote there is, thank you, New York, for an amazing run. Because not only did we beat the Yankees in the World Series, we also met the Mets. It just adds more of a button to this because they beat those teams. They beat every team I wanted them to play in this run. I wanted them to beat the Padres, to let the Padres know that they still need to check themselves. I don't hate the Padres, though. I do not hate them. I like the banter. It got exciting. It made the wins more exciting, especially with the way the Dodgers dominated them after all that crap talking. It's nice. I don't dislike Manny Machado. I don't dislike Fernando Tatis. They made it fun. I tip my hat out to them as well. Tip my hat out to the Mets and obviously the Yankees. So again, if you guys want to reach me on Facebook, you can private message me. Again, it's Johnny Blade. That's my moniker because of my work with Sin Blades. That's what people know my business from. Johnny Blade is a character for my work. And then look for the Freddie Freeman Statue of Liberty pose on my picture. If you want to reach me at Instagram, it's sinblades_turf. You can PM me there as well or direct message me there as well. And of course, Twitter, it's Joe Soro LFB. I don't really post a lot of times there. I do on occasion. But to me, X/Twitter is a cesspool that I hate and don't like to be around too much. But when you contact me through there, I'll always answer. Mark and I always talk through there.
Thank you, Sean. He has matched the super chat of M24, matching 9. He actually won up to you, M24, by 1 penny. You $10. Thank you, Sean. Truly appreciate it. And just all that teasing aside on Edie, I hope he does become something. He's lost weight. He's now more athletic. He's able to go ahead and like Joe said, he's able. Can he be able to defend, or do they put him out on an island each and every time? So far, all the rookies have struggled, Connect included. The only one who hasn't, I guess you could say, is Dunn in Phoenix. Right now, again, they're all struggling, but Edie might have a place in this league after all. And of me and a lot of other individuals, Joe, a lot of other people that didn't think highly of Edie. I mean, this time, last year, he was like in the 50s. He was actually told he should go back, so he went back for his senior season. You saw what happened, and more power to him if he can make it in the league, Joe.
He will have to adjust, though, folks. You can't be the back of the basket type guy. He's gonna have to turn into the next Brook Lopez, and he has that potential, but he's gonna have to put in the work. Jeremy, the question you asked about Ohtani talking English. So for those who don't know, he speaks English to everybody in the clubhouse. He speaks enough English. The thing is, when he's being interviewed, he likes to speak. He likes to control the marketing of himself. And a lot of it is towards respect and humility. And it's more articulate when he has a translator and speaking in Japanese. But if you hung out with Ohtani in the clubhouse, he speaks English, and he's actually a prankster. He actually messes with people. So Ohtani, I mean, there's no words. There's no words to baseball. For those of you who are going to start watching more baseball commentary from us on the other side, you're going to learn a lot if you don't know a lot about baseball, folks. Baseball it's an absolutely beautiful game. It is such a beautiful game. I absolutely love baseball. Love football, love basketball, love baseball. And when baseball's played a certain way, it is just an absolute gem. And the Dodgers play baseball the way you dream of a team, of your team playing. You got clutch players, you got smart players. They compete and they beat the top of the line talent. The Dodgers beat every single team that was in the top four. The top four teams in this league were the Mets, Padres, Yankees, and Dodgers. And what can you say? I'm gonna connect it with the 2010 team where they beat Phoenix. They were really good in the West, next to the Lakers though, and then they beat. Although the Celtics were a 50-win team and a 4th seed in the East, they were the best East team that year, despite the record. And it does feel a little bit better because you look back, a championship's a championship. I'm still going to enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. The Orlando championship was nice, but it wasn't like beating the Celtics, right, G?
Beating the Celtics is the ultimate.
I mean, I'm not, again, if you came to me and said, Joe, you're going to beat the Orlando Magic for every year for the next 5 years, I take it 100%. Believe me.
I said the other day that the two greatest championships for me personally was the Lakers winning on Boston's home floor and the bubble championship because of what the world was going through and what my family was going through at that time. It just meant so much emotionally. So those are the two that mean most to me. They're all great. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think those are the two that mean most to me. Just because, and the Boston one is for obvious reasons. Winning on their home court was absolutely justifying, in my opinion. It felt so good.
And it's very difficult to say this because I really like the New York Yankee team as well. Brett Boone is a good guy. Loved Stanton, loved Judge. Even Chisholm Jr. being kind of like he's, that guy plays baseball like he enjoys it. He plays and he enjoys it. And you want that. You want that enthusiasm. And guys like Rizzo are good dudes. And this just good people, good guys. But what gave me a lot of satisfaction is that piece of shit those two pieces of shit they could have injured Mookie Betts. At least the guy next to that moron trying to get the ball out of the glove. Those guys and a lot of the people that were, a lot of the reactions, I was getting a kick out of all the reactions from the Yankee fans on YouTube. And those guys, I was glad that those guys saw what happened. Hated the fact that Judge had to be the guy that screwed it up. And of course, Garrett Cole as well. But those guys the fans deserve to see this kind of loss because they got so happy. They got so proud all of a sudden. Oh, we should have won game 1 if we had just played better. Oh, no shit. Really? That's they actually said that. We're talking to that John Boy guy. I've always heard the word John Boy, and then I ended up finally seeing who this guy was. And he said it right in front of his friend. Apparently, he's a famous guy with him. He goes, we should have won those 2 games if the Yankees had just fielded better. Well, that's baseball, you idiot. What does that even mean? So if, whens, shoulds don't mean anything. In the end, especially when you factor in the Yankees were abysmal all year defensively because all they thought about this is on them. All they thought about is hitting bombs and scaring people. Oh, we got Mike, you got Judge. We got Mike Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton. We got the Beasts. We got the Twin Towers, whatever. Hey, folks, you could do that probably with Cleveland and Kansas City, but you wouldn't have been able to do that versus the Mets, San Diego, and definitely not the freaking Dodgers. I would even say that I'm pretty comfortable in saying that if the Dodgers didn't make it to the World Series, I don't think the Mets would have lost to the Yankees, and I don't think the San Diego Padres would have lost to the Yankees. I think the Yankees were bound to lose this World Series. So for those of you who are Yankee fans, you spring training, you better start running those ground balls and those catches, and you better freaking do that stuff until your hands and eyes bleed. because that's what costs you a chance of winning a championship. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for being here again. Gerald, thanks for chiming in here at the end. I'll be back. I'll be back on Sunday to for some post game and obviously playback, and then doing a nightcap. And if you have any questions, you guys all know how to get me. Until then, well, I should say until next time. I'll see you next time.